Buddy Mark Abrams here in Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena for King's Promotions. We're going to do a little weigh-in show. First, we're going to take part in the matinee show. I'm here with my partner for the next hour or so, King's Promotions own Andrew Foy. Andrew, we're here. Weighing day. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's over now, though. Ready to go.
Ready to go. So we got two big shows. Obviously, the thought process into having two shows was, before a lot of the restrictions were lifted. What obviously you work a lot hand in hand with Marshall Kaufman. What's the thought process in having two shows?
Well, yeah, with what we were presuming was going to be a limited ticket capacity. I mean, essentially wanted to optimize our revenue per the fighters. I mean, we have a bunch of fighters on both of these shows who are fairly advanced in their career. When they fight, they need to make so much money, and to be able to do that, we need to be able to support it with ticket sales. And we also do have a lot of big ticket sellers on both cards. So that was the way that we felt that we could optimize that at the time.
Yeah, there you have it. Oh, let me just get to switch there. That's better. So what are you looking for? Obviously, we'll get to the main event. The first show, we have a terrific lineup for the first show. Actually, both shows we got a terrific lineup. We'll go down the fights, or actually maybe go up the fights. We Christian Bermudez 2-0 taking on Lawrence Mertag. A couple guys from New York. I guess going to start everything out here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, neither of these fighters are really people that Marshall or myself are terribly familiar with. We know that Bermudez is a popular fighter. He's a big ticket seller. I expect him to look good in this fight. It's about the extent that either of us could probably tell you about it.
My plan for this, when I came up with the idea of doing this show, a little weigh-in show, was maybe, obviously, we would love people to chime in and give us their opinions, chat, even ask us any other boxing questions. We're all down for it. I was actually going to ask Marshall, and I was going to do this and put my hands over my head so he wouldn't shoot me, but I'm not going to be able to do it. I was going to see maybe to give away 2 tickets, but everything's completely sold out. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about it. Not terribly surprised, though, just being, like I said, and we have several very popular ticket sellers on both shows, and we were pleasantly surprised, actually, with the ticket sales of a few of the fighters who we didn't know what to expect. So, I mean, it's been great as far as ticket sales go, and, I think that even people, if they're not fans or family or friends of individual fighters, I mean, I think should want to come out to this show because it's going to be the best boxing event in Philly since the pandemic.
And if you can't be here, let me put up the thing on the thing. The fights can be seen live on bxngtv.com. Last few years, King's Promotions has been out in the forefront, streaming events all over the world and getting tremendous responses. I remember, one of the shows did humongous numbers that we did in the sands. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, it's a great way. And you know what? There's no way. I went down the boxing schedule. There's no excuses for people who are definitely fans of the sport not to watch one, if not both, these shows, because there's no other boxing tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's true. And I think both of these shows have fights on them that if you were going to watch boxing on network television, we have quality of fights in both shows that would meet that criteria, and we have prospects on both shows who would meet the criteria to be in some of the undercard fights. So, yeah, there's no reason not to.
So let's get back down to the fights itself. We talked about Bermudez and Murtaugh. I know Bermudez, he's aligned with Andre Rozier, who we see in a lot of corners of some major guys. Danny Jacobs for the longest time, his nephew Curtis Stevens for the longest time. Now Edgar Bralanga is one of the hottest names in the sport. We see him in the corner of Andre Rozier. So Andre, knowing him as long as I have, that's a long time. He doesn't just bring guys who he just, wants to pass the time with.
Yeah, no, I mean, certain trainers, that they're not going to waste their time with certain level of fighters. And Andre Rozier is one of the most respected trainers in the United States. So, I mean, certainly this kid has a lot of talent, and there's people that are expecting big things from him. And we're excited to have him.
I know. Speaking of, so you're good at this. You gave me a great segue. Talk about excitement. Your partner Marshall Kaufman can't stop raving about a kid named Kadir Albright who's been making his pro debut tomorrow night in a super lightweight for tomorrow afternoon, 3:00 Eastern time, in a super lightweight fight against Isaac Haynes. What can you tell the fans out there about Kadir Albright?
I think this guy may be one of the best prospects, certainly in Pennsylvania, if not the East Coast and even the United States. A lot of people know that earlier this year we signed Atif Overton. He's fought his first 2 fights on Premier Boxing Champions. A lot of people know who Atif Overton is, given his experience in the national and international amateur level. I think this kid, Kadir Albright, actually is every bit as good. Obviously, I mean, they're not ever going to fight each other. They're nowhere near the weight or anything like that. But he's a little more under the radar. But I actually saw him fight in Philadelphia Golden Gloves probably 2 or 3 years ago. And it was not at a time when I was still promoting in Harrisburg and didn't have aspirations much beyond that at that point. But I just remember being extremely impressed by the guy and thinking that he was a big talent and he was going to go really far in the pro game. And then, when Marshall told me that we were going to sign him, I was really excited. He's the real deal.
So this is a kid that, and I have not seen him fight. So this is a kid, like you said, when you were running your promotions, Titans promotions out of Harrisburg, that he was on your radar even back then.
Well, no, I mean, he wasn't on my radar because I didn't really have any expectation to be trying to actively sign fighters, really outside of Harrisburg. But I was at a Golden Glove show in Philly to support a couple amateurs from my gym in Harrisburg at the time. And I just remember seeing him on the card. And, from my standpoint, he stole the show. I mean, he already, he had it all 3 years ago.
Is this one of these like explosive type of fighters that I don't want to compare him to like Duran, but when you see explosion, you watch him fight. He kind of in that ilk. That's the type of fights that we'll see out of Kadir Albright.
Yeah, I believe so. I think he's going to climb. He's going to climb pretty quickly. I mean, he has it all.
So so we're only on the second fight, and that's. Sounds like it's worth it enough to watch this kid, because when this kid does make it to the higher, levels, fighting for regional titles, world titles, whatever, you can say, I saw his first fight, whether it was here at the 2300 Arena here in Philadelphia or on the screen on bxngtv.com. So, that's one of the great things about, the streaming services, and, you can see undercard fights and fighters that are on the way up, literally on the way up, taking their first steps.
Yeah. And just another, thing about Kadir, he ended up surprising us being a huge ticket seller. We don't know what to expect out of a lot of guys when we sign him. And that was a real pleasant surprise, I'll say that. So he's got a ton of people that are going to be here in support for him tomorrow. And Arena will be rocking when he fights, and I expect he'll bring the fireworks.
So let's move up the card a little bit. This is an interesting fight. Like I said, Marshall Kaufman, he's one of the few promoters, I say, who's like a real boxing guy, because he was a trainer, he was a manager, he was an amateur fighter. His son, Travis, was the top amateur heavyweight in the country, who rose into up the heavyweight rank. So he's like one of those almost like sweatbox kind of guys. Where a lot of promoters who are great business people and they know the game. But Marshall's he thinks and he puts on great fights. So we're looking at a fight here with Edgar Torres 8-0-1 against Keyshawn Hutchinson 7-5. On paper, it looks like the 8-0-1 guy should be the chalk here. Not so fast, as Hutchinson's won 4 in a row, including some good upsets as I look down his thing, he beats James Martin. How good does that win look right now after what Martin had got the win over Vito Mielnicki Jr. about a month or so ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's a great win, but since we have plenty of time here, I just want to take a second and say, give a shout out to James Martin, because he did look, he looked like he belonged on that stage, and he beat down Vito. And Vito's a young kid. I'm sure he'll rebound and come back. But, he took that fight, what was it, 3-4 weeks after he fought Xander Zayevh. And, I thought he could have been actually better in the Zayevh fight, but I think that gave him the confidence to go in there and fight the way he fought against Mielnicki. So I just want to give a shout to James, because that was a great fight, and we're expecting him to continue to grind and do some big things. But yeah, great win for Kashan. I mean, Kashan was probably one of the hottest fighters, in this area before the pandemic.
Four in a
row. Several of the wins, he was really the underdog in the fight.
I think we're about to weigh in the main event.
I think we are.
Let me turn the camera around. This is a one-camera operation here, so let's turn the camera around and Devar Fehadi and
Blake Mansfield.
Chairs out here for these guys. Or you want to put it over there? Blake, ready? Mansfield, 1678. All right. Gonna take him. What's up? I'm 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Very good, guys. You want to face well for him? One on one side of the scale, one on the other. Devar. Only one? I see you tomorrow.
I think you're moving it. There you go.
We are back live, or we've been live the whole time.
Why don't we talk about this last fight?
We have to now.
The best laid plans, right? But I mean, this is going to be a rocking main event. I can't wait to see it. The last time Blake fought Jamal Davis in Harrisburg, it was a war. I'm expecting really nothing less tomorrow afternoon, I guess, with him and Fehadi. Their styles really match up well. It's going to be an exciting fight. Both guys are just going to bring it to each other.
So, I mean, and lots been made. Devar Fehadi, who's got a great story. There's going to be a big story out on ringtv.com sometime, I think, today. Joe Sanloquito got a chance to speak to him yesterday. He's an unbelievable story in many ways. He's from Iraq. He studied to become a doctor. I think he's a doctor already in Iraq. I think he's very close to being a doctor here in the United States. I think he's like one test away or something like that. And my wife's physician right next to me. You brought your stethoscope today. What would you forget? You had it around your neck, or?
Nice. I got to do some work.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I can't say too much more than that.
Doctor-patient confidentiality. There you go. So anyway, let's see if we got. Here we go. We got some questions here. Did Luis weigh in yet, Andrew?
No. He'll be in the evening. His weigh-in will begin around 5. Probably closer to 5:36 when they weigh in.
This is why I bring you on, because you draw the people.
Exactly.
They're asking you all the questions. So when we did the press conferences earlier this week, obviously the nightcap main event with Jens Plana and Brandon Robinson, both super middleweights. The main event here, both super middleweights. The winner of these two fights may dance at some point with each other at some point later in the year.
Yeah, I mean, I say the winners dance, the losers dance. I mean, these are the kind of fights where I don't really expect there's going to be a loser. I mean, I think these are going to be, well, of course, there's going to technically probably be a loser, but these are going to be great fights. I just can't see this fight with Fehadi and Mansfield not being fireworks. I mean, the fight with Brandon and Jens could be a little more awkward because we know that Jens is an awkward fighter, and I've come to enjoy watching him because you kind of get into his style. But for Devar and Blake, I mean, they're very traditional kind of boxer punchers, and they just come. Well, I don't want to say boxer punchers. They're really just punchers.
I say if you're watching the show tomorrow, especially on the stream. Well, I'm going to say turn the commentary down because the commentary is going to be great with Rich Quinones and Alicia Baumgartner. We'll get into her and her future in a few minutes. But if you put some music on and just focus on Jens, it's like watching a guy at a disco with all the herky-jerky moves and stuff like that. I mean, he does have that awkward style. And he's got up and beat somebody. A lot of people thought he beat our fighter.
Calvin Henderson.
Calvin Henderson. Again, we're talking King's Promotion super middleweights. Calvin Henderson, we can't forget about him.
Absolutely not. No, I mean, we're stacked with super middleweights.
Yeah, again, Andrew, you're just drawing the people here. I may need to hire you full time. What's up with this?
Yeah, I'll give you a good rate.
You'll pay me. So anyway, so let's get back to so let's talk a little bit more about the main event that just weighed in. Once you saw both guys, what do you get from the weigh-in? 167.8 for both.
I mean, they both look great. I mean, they look like what I would expect them to. They're obviously ready to fight. I mean, Blake Mansfield always has, an impressive physique. I remember when he fought Jamal in Harrisburg and the weigh-in, and somebody, he kind of got up on the scale, and the person turned to me and just kind of said, like, oh, shit, he's going to kill him. It was a great fight. I mean, that's what Blake looks like when he's in shape, and he's in great shape right now. Devar,
a little bit of desperation. Not only desperation, but maybe back up against the wall for Blake. Would you say it a little bit like that? He's getting this main event. He's lost a couple fights. Now he's getting this main event, gets an undefeated guy, a guy who's been impressive, and Devar's been impressive the couple times that we've seen him, especially the last fight we saw him up here. A win can eliminate a lot of losses and whatnot for Blake Mansfield. Can really kind of catapult him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he were to win this fight, he puts himself in a position now. I think obviously to fight the winner of the 8 o'clock main event, but also to get himself back into some network fights. I mean, sometimes you can only have so many losses and be able to get on those sorts of cards. But with a win over, an 8-0 prospect like this, I mean, he put himself right back in that mix for some good money fights, I think.
There you go. So let's get back to the card here. Maybe we'll see here. But we didn't get done talking about Hutchinson and Torres. So we talked about Hutchinson on a roll, 4 in a row. James Martin, a couple other good quality wins. Taking on a kid named Edgar Torres, 8-0 and 1-4 knockouts from Woodbridge, Virginia. It's on paper, you see the 8-0 and 1 guy, but Keyshawn Hutchinson, he's a guy who hangs in with anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can only learn so much about guys looking at their box rec, but when I look at this guy's fights, there's nobody on here that I recognize as a promoter and a matchmaker. And so
Andre Baker, 1042 and 2. I've seen him listed on a lot of bout sheets.
I've never even seen that name. So, I mean, not to say that the kid can't fight. I mean, I'm sure he can, which is why somebody's paying for him to fight these fights and get these wins. But, he's as old as I am. He's almost 40. And
38. There you go. You're 40?
I'm 39.
I didn't know.
But I think I think Keyshawn is going to win this fight.
Hello, here. See, I'm finally getting some love. I'm finally getting out of Andrew's shadow. What's up, Mark, buddy? Thank you very much. So like I said, those couple fights so far to start the card up. I mean, that's tremendous. We haven't got to the meat of the action. We just saw the main event weigh in. See, because the restrictions only let one fight in at a time here to talk to the commission. So it looks like all the fighters are trying to break the door down to get in here. But so we'll get back to the fights in a minute. I mean, is this giving you a lot of time? Last year plus, I know you and Marshall talk a lot. Contemplating. Certain moves with certain fighters. I mean, is there been a lot of that between you and Marshall the last 15 months or so?
Yeah, I mean, more so, I think, from Marshall. I mean, he's the insider in the sport. He has the connects. I think I think Marshall's done a tremendous job
Absolutely.
with our fighters during this pandemic. And I would say better than any other promoter that's not top ranked, really.
You look what Michael Coffey's gotten. He's kind of he actually, I think he fought on the first PBC fight back where he kind of made a name for himself, and then
he had that impressive knockout win. And then the next fight, the guy got injured, had to stop in the second round, and then he destroyed Darmani Rock. I mean, and Mike Coffey definitely has the goods, and that's somebody that again just goes to show Marshall's eye for talent. I mean, he's been high on Mike for a long time, and really set him up perfectly.
So you got Mike Coffey kind of getting on the radar, and then you talk about Rais Salim, who's kind of exploded in the couple fights that he's had during the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, Rais Salim's been a long-term project with King's Promotions. I mean, when I, decided to join with Marshall, I mean, Rais was back then. I mean, he was the guy that Marshall had kind of, had his eye on, thought that he was going to do big things and be a world champion. And he was able to get him opportunities, to succeed and get him in that spotlight. And to be honest, I think right now, I don't think any of these guys want to fight Rais.
We see Fulton and Figueroa are kind of matched up.
It would love, Rais would love to fight the winner of that fight. I think he beats either guy. Akhmadaliev, I don't think wants anything to do with Rais. I think he beats him easy. I mean, I think Rais is the cream of the crop in that weight class right now.
22 pounds. You guys got like Danny Roman as well. A couple other.
I really like Danny Roman, but he does look like he's faded a little bit in his last. I mean, what do you think about that?
I thought he fought well in his last fight.
Well, he fought well, but not. He didn't look to me like, an undisputed world champion.
Obviously he lost his fight to Akhmadaliev, but I'm saying he's a guy, he's a name, he's still at pretty much at the top of his game. I don't know if he slipped. It's very, to my eye, unnoticeable. I don't know yet.
It may just be a matter of that now that the guys that are at the top of that division are a little bit better than the guys that were at the top before. It could just be talent of a guy like Fulton and Aleem make somebody like Rahman look less impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you though. I think Raiz is more than a handful for anyone in that division. And I mean, I think even the winner of Fulton Figueroa, if that would be the case, Raiz Salim is in the fight against more than in the fight against either of those guys.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously I'm biased. I think he beats either of those guys, but I don't think anybody would say it wasn't competitive.
I think
another weigh-in now.
I think we got Greg Outlaw and Andrew Rogers.
Where's Andrew Rogers? You're the fighter, right? If you're done, come and see me. If you're done with him. If you're done with him.
Brains behind the operation. Oh, man, how you doing?
All right. See you in the corner. Corner. Oh. See you in the corner.
I think they said he's with the doctor.
That's good for your story, but it's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody's got to be on the same page. You know what I'm saying? This way you're not totally questionable. You know what I mean? Anytime you're right. Yeah, you're right. So you're correct. Yeah. Yeah, then you go square. 141-2.
Hey, the fangs in there. Rich grills and
All right, that was Greg Outlaw just weighing in. I think his opponent is with the doctor right now. The weigh-ins are run a little bit different when Greg Serb isn't doing them. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, a little bit, especially. I mean, I've been sitting through these pandemic weigh-ins, and before I think they were only letting one coach in at a time, and I think now, they said two.
Let's talk about Greg Outlaw for a second. One of the most popular boxers, in the East Coast. When he fought, when Jared Hurd fought Julian Williams for the title several years back, I think Greg sold the most tickets for anybody on the whole fight card.
And his mother, who's standing 3 feet.
No, I'm his manager.
Oh, manager. I thought I'm sorry.
No, I'm his manager.
His manager,
Yes.
who's standing 3 feet away from us, she nods yes about the ticket sale.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Almost 30,000 in tickets.
there you have it.
So
This is live television, so they hear it.
one of the best prospects in our stable right now. I'm real excited
So
about this guy.
So let's talk about him. We talked about Raiz, and we talked about Mike Coffey. Greg Outlaw, I know he's had some injury issues, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been out of the ring a little bit here and there.
Yeah,
Now-
surgery on his meniscus before the pandemic.
So now the ship is starting to right a little bit. Where do we expect to see Greg Outlaw?
I mean, I think he's going to continue to be a huge ticket seller, and I think you should expect to see him on television probably within the next couple of years, maybe even this year. Trains with Michael Fox, trainers Troy Fox. So he's getting great work. His opponent right now is about to step up to the scale, so Mark's going to turn the camera around here. This is Andrew Rogers.
Andrew, 141.9.
41.9 for Rogers.
One now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Sal. Don't face this way.
Get ready for Vegas. Stop. Next call. Like I said, if you guys do COVID test tomorrow at 11, they start.
That got intense, Mark. Without muscle like Marshall or I behind the face-offs now to break these up. Hopefully, we don't have any of that today.
Our man Frank Bartolini, who we will see here tomorrow, one of the great reporter. What's the name of it? It's a USA Boxing News, I believe. Frank. Frank's been covering the fights for a long time, and Outlaw just you can't see his bias. Greg's taking pictures, and Outlaw's just walking in front of everybody. I guess the more of the story is, Andrew, if you're hungry, just make sure Andrew Rogers is around. He'll butt right in front of you in line.
This is going to be a good fight, Greg. This is one of those ones where the record can be a bit deceiving. Andrew Rogers is a tough fighter, and we expect this is going to be a real test for Greg Outlaw. You look at his box rec, and you will recognize names on here.
Majority with Nahir Albright, who's who's surging. He's really surging as a lightweight. Nahir Albright, and the cousin of Kadir, if I'm not mistaken. That's what Marshall told me.
That's correct.
You see, he's going the distance. 14-1. Kevin Torres has got a draw with 8-0. Alfredo Escarga. He got stopped in 2 by Raul Coriel, who's a Golden Boy prospect. But going the distance again, 6 rounds with Wesley Ferrer, Kareem Martin, who we know, who's fought on a bunch of our shows. Kenneth Sims, who just got that terrific win over Elvis Rodriguez out in Las Vegas. Gary Antoine Russell, who we just saw last weekend. So Rogers is tested, and when you look at, he may test, and maybe despite the big height difference, he's going to give Greg Outlaw a test on Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. Yes. To say, I don't know that I'd say it's 50-50. I might say maybe it's 60-40 favor Greg. He definitely has a height advantage and the pedigree. But Andrew is this is going to be a good fight. Very good fight. These are the kind of fights you just don't see on other promoters' cards.
And like I said, that's the co-feature for the matinee session. And like I said,
I don't even know if it's really the co-feature. We have several fights that could be the co-feature for that. One we haven't gotten to yet, but yeah, we can call that the co-feature.
So let's get to that fight then. The one that you are talking about, and I think that's going to weigh in next with a kid that I guess came into our lives in this very building last Valentine's Day of 2020. Joseph Jackson, 16-0 with 12 knockouts out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Came in here as a very unheralded guy. Fought a prospect at the time, an undefeated 20-year-old kid out of Detroit named Derek Coleman on a showbox card. And Jackson was not only won the fight, but was very impressive in doing so.
I agree. He was very impressive in doing so. Joseph Jackson is a very good prospect, a little bit unheralded coming out of North Carolina. But, we have some insight on him. He trains with Tony Harrison quite a bit, was part of Tony's camps before his world title fights with Charlo. We knew he could fight before that fight. And he's the real deal. We're expecting him to be back on television within the next year or so.
And he's kind of the next guy. Obviously, he got the win on Showbox. We talked about some of the guys who are closer, like Aleem and Coffey. He's maybe in that next boat with him and Janelson Figueroa Boca Chica Figueroa. Which one? I talk to the kid on the phone all the time. He's maybe that next kind of guys to be released onto bigger and higher ground.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, he's right there, and he showed in the fight with Coleman that he belongs at that level. I think Coleman was probably more untested, to be honest with you. And actually, this is a very interesting fight that he has with Terence Williams. Terence, obviously,
he's one of your Harrisburg guys.
Terence is one of the Harrisburg guys. Terence is an extremely talented fighter. His record is really not a reflection of how good he is as a boxer. And I think he likes being in the underdog role. In fact, I think, I've been around Terence a couple weeks ago, and he just seems extremely calm and just focused on this fight. Interestingly, Terence is fighting because he wants rematches with Nick Hernandez and Eric Spring.
But this is a much bigger opportunity, I think, for him. It is,
but my point in saying that was that this is, what's on Terrence's mind. Terence doesn't need that. This is another interesting thing about a guy like Terence. I mean, Terence is like a responsible, fully functioning adult. Like, he doesn't need this. He does it because he loves it. And, sometimes you just got to respect somebody like that, because his dedication to the training is really, it's really special. And, I think he's an underdog going into this fight. But I think this could just be a real surprise. Because if you look at Terrence's last several fights, Nick Hernandez, Eric Spring, I mean, how much different are those guys than somebody like a Derek Coleman? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I think this is a really interesting fight, and I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I think with this win, maybe and taking nothing away from Terence, but maybe another win or two against Showbox type of guys. Joseph Jackson at 32 years old, he's going to be right there, because it's going to be time for him to move. Provided he fights another one or two times after this, probably be closer to 33 at that point. And it's something very interesting to look for. As tomorrow we'll get a bigger sense. Is this guy going to start being on the fringes of some of these bigger opportunities?
I mean, there's no reason that he shouldn't be. And I think there's definitely fights with PBC that we can make with him. And I'll probably leave it at that. But yeah, he's right there.
Look at you. You're making the viewers hang on for you know what that's called? It's called a tease. So if this doctor thing don't work out, maybe you have a career in TV or something. It's called a tease. So getting back to the main event here, I just want to harp back on that with the Mansfield and Devar for Fehadi. I think we were starting to touch on Fehadi's story a little bit. A kid like that with the story, he can get to, and he's just 26 years old. I mean, we signed him. I feel like we signed him like 4 or 5 years ago, huh? Yeah,
he was still completing med school.
A guy like that with his story, that's a story that can catch on. And, I'm not saying he's going to be a crossover fighter where, Nike and all these other, big companies be throwing endorsements at him. But what I'm saying is he's a guy who can capture the imagination a little bit of the boxing fans and such, to where people will remember who he is because not only is he a doctor, he's very well spoken. As I wish we were able to sit down and talk to some of these guys before on the show. That's going to happen as soon as everyone feels comfortable doing this. You're the medical guy. When do you think that'll be safe for everyone to do that?
Well, I think it would be safe right now,
Well,
but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not my decision.
Why
but
don't they defer to you?
I don't know, Mark. I got to leave that one at that too.
So who we have, Wayne? I think we
This
got
is Terence Williams
this
here.
Terence Williams here. We'll turn the camera around and see what Terence Williams weighs.
We have Terence Williams about to weigh in right now, and Joe Jackson should be coming up here soon. Terence Williams about to hit the scale right now.
$156.
156. Pound over the contract weight, 254 plus 1. So probably going to have to lose a pound.
Got the aforementioned Joseph Jackson. He's making his way towards the scale. I just saw him.
He was right there.
So how do you like doing this, Andrew? How do you like sitting here and commentating away?
I think it's great. I love giving my opinion on things.
Sure do. You sure do. I hear about it all. I hear most of them.
It's in my. Terence, I have it in my car. You need some?
Terence Williams actually asking for a piece of gum, for which my partner, Dr. Andrew Foy, is going to his card and going to oblige. So, what kind of gum did Terence Williams receive?
Trident.
There you go. Whatever works. He just stuck in his mouth right on camera.
He's going to spit out 1 pound right now.
So there's a method to this.
Yeah, come on, Mark.
Okay.
Haven't you ever cut weight before?
Look at me. The only thing I ever cut was a slice of pizza and put it in my mouth. Waiting on Joseph Jackson as he's about to come on.
Edgar Torres. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let's get them out of the way first. Once they square off and all like that, then I'll come back to you.
All the way from Greensboro, North Carolina, Joseph Jackson.
Get that right, Joe. $1,539.
It's good, Mark. I imagine that's what you look like with your shirt on.
Yeah, you're right. Something like that. 153.9 for Joseph Jackson.
Terrence, you want to square off with him?
In fact, he had a nice, made it by a nice pound 1.1 pounds.
On one side of the scale, on the other. Barrel. Put them on. Okay, Sal? Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Joe? That's down in the
Back here, Mark Abrams and Dr. Andrew Foy. I almost said ringside. So I usually say we're back here ringside, but we're in the bowels of the 2300 arena in the back, doing this weigh-in.
Tomorrow, like I said, 11 starts go.
This beats doing paperwork at a weigh-in, doesn't
It does, yeah.
it? Joseph Jackson, nice to meet you too. First fighters come over and shook our hands. At least we're feeling acknowledged now.
You know, everybody knows who you are, Mark.
They just know me because I know we
Maybe
got all these people watching all over the world. Well, I want to get some comments. What do you like? What are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow night? This great card. I keep saying tomorrow. This is tomorrow afternoon. It's tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night.
Did we go over every fight?
No,
on
no,
this?
I don't know if we did or not. Let's check. Let's see here. Let's go down the list.
I guess we did.
Yes, we did a little bit. So we have another weigh-in to start at 5 o'clock Eastern. So what we'll do after the next three weigh-ins, what we have left? We got Hutchinson and Torres. So we've done 4. So we just have 2. I don't know. We got to do Bermudez and Murtag, Hutchinson and Torres, and that's it, right? We did Fehadi
We still have to do Albright.
and Albright. Oh, so this is the.
I don't know if we can kill this much time, Mark.
Sure, we can.
What else you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's some good fights coming
Talk
up.
about my golf?
Oh yeah, let's hear about that. No, seriously, I want to hear about it.
No, that's not for. Can't talk about that publicly.
Because
It's embarrassing.
No, I know what you want. I know why. Because you're one of those guys who's probably really like a 3 handicap.
No.
And when you play, you want 9-10 strokes aside.
I want like 25 strokes.
There you go. And you're probably like a 3 handicap.
No, yeah.
So we got people watching all over the place. We got people watching on the King's Boxing Facebook page, Abrams Boxing on YouTube, Abrams Boxing on Facebook. Follow the money on Periscope. Mark Abrams on Periscope and Mark Abrams Boxing on Twitch.
We got a question there
Jeremy-
about the handicap.
Jeremy Watts wants to know what's your handicap. You know,
Well, Mark said 3.
now what is your handicap? Seriously.
It's high.
It's all right.
I mean, I have
My handicap's my swing. So, I mean, seriously, I'm sure it's better than a good portion of the
It's
country.
probably about 18.
Okay, what's wrong with that? They shoot a 90. That's terrific.
That's on a good day.
That's on a good day. Jeremy, what's your handicap? We got more single digit. You know Jeremy? Or no? No. Jeremy? What's your handicap? Maybe we can set something up, a little match play. Go on somewhere between Andrew, and we'll live stream it.
There you go. They're like Barstool Sports.
Yeah, there you go. Not bad. Not bad. She says, "What's yours, Jeremy?" And by the way, will you be watching the fights tomorrow? He's an 8. So here we
tremendous.
go. So here we go. So Jeremy against Andrew, but you got to give him 10 strokes. Bottom line. That's the bottom line. Jeremy, you can be tuning in tomorrow. We've got 2 big shows on BXNGTV.com. First at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The second one featuring Brandon Robinson taking on Jens Plana in our two super middleweight main events, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Of course. Okay, cool. So it says $5 a hole though.
It's getting steep.
Steve?
It's getting steep.
That's him?
There you have it. So we'll negotiate this at another point. So let's talk some boxing. Jeremy, who's your favorite professional boxer? Says I'll give you 5.
He's persistent.
Yeah, I hear you. He says he's an 18. 10 or nothing. And Andrew picks the course. See, I'm like your manager. I'm like your golf manager. So,
About to have, looks like Kadir Albright's going to be weighing in next. Wait till people.
this guy's good. Anyone sign with Kings?
Anyone signed to Kings? All right.
There you go.
Wait till people see him. The height on this guy for his weight class is tells you a lot of what you need to know.
Is this Kadir here in the orange?
It is.
About 6 foot, 6'1" at least,
Mhm.
140 pounder.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll flash Andrew. You can talk to the crowd out there.
What are you doing, Mark?
I'll flash. Let me turn the camera on.
Okay.
What do you think? I'll leave you here hanging?
All right, we're going to turn the camera now. Looks like Kadir Albright. Hopefully, he's going to be weighing in. I don't know if he's weighing in quite yet.
So I'm back here. Are you okay? You made it. You made it through the last 35 seconds. Okay, by yourself.
I did.
So what are we gonna do for like 2 hours after these in between these weigh-ins?
Get some drinks.
I was gonna say, where are you taking me to lunch? See, this is what I want. I wish you'd play Jeremy now, take some of his money, and you can buy me lunch out.
It would be amusing watching me play. That would be good television.
Just answering some texts while we wait.
Got the camera right now on Kadir Albright.
How tall are you?
Why don't we have him come over, Mark?
I mean, if you can, I actually have a third.
Why don't you give him mine and you interview him?
You want to sit down? Come on.
Come here.
Oh. There you go. Keep going. There we go. Here we go. I got a pro debuting junior welterweight Kadir Albright. He will be fighting tomorrow night, making your pro debut. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just ready to weigh in.
I've heard some real exciting things about you. Is all this stuff true?
It's definitely true.
I mean, Marshall was telling me how good you are. Andrew's been talking nonstop about you for the last 45 minutes. And so tell us a little about yourself. How many amateur fights?
I had about 60-something amateur fights.
And
I
then-
was about 56-13.
And did you fight anyone in the amateurs we would have heard of, known?
Have you heard of Steven Galliano?
Yeah, of course we have.
Yeah, I fought him in the Nationals.
In fact, this gentleman over here, I believe, manages Steven Galliano. This one over here,
Oh, okay.
Adam Glenn.
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine now.
Adam, who produces everything for BXNGTV.com. You got people watching on the screen or what tomorrow?
Yep.
They know where to go, BXNGTV.com?
BXNGTV.com.
There you go. So from what Andrew and Marshall tell me, that you fight pretty explosive.
Yeah, I could do everything. I could box. I could sit there and bang. My defense is slick. I could really do it all for real. And I'm a puncher. And most importantly, I'm like probably the biggest at this weight class.
So let me ask you a question. If I need to go to the bathroom or need to get a drink during your work.
You're going to miss the fight.
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So don't go to the refrigerator.
Don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Had a popcorn ready.
So is that put all seriousness aside, all kidding aside, does that put pressure on yourself to, when you want to, you're saying you're going to knock a guy out in the first round? Right?
No, it doesn't put pressure on me. It gets me excited.
Now, someone told me your cousin's with Nahir Albright,
Yes, yes. That's my
and he's been on a roll lately too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
he's actually he must be he was a guy. He was 6'7" he's not only knocking guys out, he's blasting them out.
Yeah, yeah. He moved down in weight now.
So what's he been watching your fights? Is that what it is?
I passed him down a
not-
couple things.
Nahir's my guy. So.
Yeah.
You know anything about this opponent you're fighting on tomorrow afternoon?
I don't know nothing about him. I just know he's from New York.
To make it extra special to be able to fight a guy from New York and maybe beat on him a little bit?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
What who are your boxing influences? The guys that you like or
My boxing influences, Roy Jones Jr., one of my favorites, Floyd, Jerron Ennis. You know, I was in camp with him, so it's just good being around that type of fighter, you know,
how
getting to
much
experience.
how much do you learn in a fight like that?
In a fight like what?
I mean, not a fight like that in a camp like that.
Oh, you learn a lot. You learn a lot just being around them type of fighters. I'm around all pros, getting the best work, sparring all elite pros. You know, I've been doing it since I was young, though. I sparred Tevin Farmer, Charles Conwell. I sparred Jerron Boots Ennis, Steven Ortiz. You know, I've been in there with all the big names.
So yeah, I know Conwell's he's been sparring a lot and been in camp with Boots a lot.
Yeah.
So you're getting both that work
Yeah.
on the same day?
Oh, no, not the same
No,
day.
I'm saying maybe you do 2-3 rounds of this guy, 2-3 rounds of that guy.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, how much being in camp and fighting and sparring those guys?
You want me to turn the camera?
Turn the camera. Who we got weighing in? We got weighing. You know, you want to do some commentary on this weigh-in with me or
Sure,
what?
yeah, we could do some commentary.
There we go.
He's a big personality.
I'm trying to. I'm also trying to. You know how many commentators I've spawned into big roles? No, I said seriously, I have. So who we got? This is Torres weighing in.
What weight they fighting at?
I believe these guys are fighting around welterweight, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, all right.
All right, 147.4. 147.
Edgar Torres, 147.4 pounds. You might see one of these guys in your future.
Oh, for sure.
How old are you?
21.
21. And why is right now the time to turn pro?
Right now is the time. I was thinking about turning pro anyway in 2020 after the Golden Gloves, but you know, COVID came. I made it to the finals. COVID came. I couldn't finish it out. They said they was ending the Golden Gloves. So I said, you know, might as well just turn pro. I was going to fight the last national in December, but they moved it all the way up until this year. So I just felt as though this was the perfect time.
So he's be fighting Kayshawn Hutchinson as Edgar Torres. And you know Kayshawn all from writing?
I heard of him before. Yeah, he fought a friend of mine. He fought James Martin. I was also in camp with him.
Okay. He's got a big win over James Martin.
Yeah, but James Martin just got a big win over Vito.
Sure did. So you're a pro debut, you make your way in last.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal.
Yeah. It's not too bad, though. You know, getting down to this weight wasn't really that hard. Still feel energized. Not really.
What weight did you fall? You 141 as an amateur?
I was 152. Well, I was 141 originally, but, you know, they took that out of nationals. So I ended up moving up
if
to
you don't mind me
152.
asking.
He's a natural behind the take over for you, man.
I was about to say you can don't you have patience to see? Well, I was gonna say, why not 147 if you were, you know?
I think 147 is too easy to make.
Too easy to make.
Too easy.
Well, is that what you want? Is it? I'm just asking.
I mean, I really want to have that advantage, and I could get down to 140, so I said, why not?
There you go. So we're just waiting on Kayshawn Hutchinson. So what's it like to turn pro? In a great fight town like Philadelphia.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. You know, I got my whole hometown behind me. The crowd is gonna be rocking for sure.
When was your first memories of this moment? Dreaming about this? What age?
Oh, probably about 12. That's when I knew I wanted to be a professional boxer. Watching Floyd and just everybody. Adrian Broner, he was one of my favorites. But around 12 is when I knew I wanted to be a professional boxer.
My now director Andrew Foy is pointing at something. I can't hear it. 149.6 for Kayshawn Hutchinson. We're live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. What do you want to say to the fans out there who are watching?
To all the fans out there watching, I just want to say, this event that got put together is going to be great. The whole card is a bunch of great fighters. You're not going to want to miss this show. So if you're not here live, watch it on BXNG. They will be streaming it. So make sure y'all tune in.
Now, I know it's a pay-per-view. Are you worth the price of admission alone?
Oh, I should be more than the price. But, yeah, it's definitely worth the price. Y'all going to get what y'all paid for sure. A lot of action-packed fights.
What punches the knockout come? Because I wanted, when it happens, I want to make sure the announcers know that you called your shot, Babe Ruth style.
It's either going to be an overhand right or a left hook.
It's either going to be a right or a left. That's. Is there any other?
Left hand hospital, right hand cemetery.
Oh.
So whichever one comes first.
This is a vicious guy.
Mark, what do you think of Sunday?
Sunday? Oh well, yeah. Since he did mention that Floyd is one of your guys, he's fighting a YouTube guy. What do you think?
Oh yeah, he fighting Logan Paul, right?
Correct.
It's kind of a joke, but Floyd gonna beat him up. That's what he's supposed to do.
You would love to get some of that Paul action, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll beat Logan Paul up, Jake Paul. Once the time right, they get him called out for sure.
But what do you think of that? I mean, they're drawing some attention to boxing.
Definitely a lot of attention. It may be the wrong attention, but because these YouTubers gonna start calling out boxers, like that's not your place. Like we really work hard every day in the gym, and for him to fight Floyd, that's pretty crazy.
I know he's been working hard too. But
Yeah, of course, but it's levels. It's definitely levels.
Definitely level. I mean, I work hard every day. I'm not going to be fighting Floyd. So.
Yeah. Right.
So give me the timetable of when I'm having this conversation with you in a year. How many fights are we talking for Kadir Albright?
Wait, how many amateur fights?
No, how many? If I'm talking to you on June 4th, 2022, what's your record going to be?
2022?
Yeah.
I should be like 14-0 with 14 knockouts.
14 fights in a year?
14 fights in a year. Maybe no. Maybe 8-0, 8 knockouts.
Okay, that's all. I don't know if anyone's fighting 14 fights.
Yeah.
Maybe Willie Pep.
Yeah, Willie Pep, who fought like 400 times, but
I don't plan on being in there for too long though. They ain't gonna last too long.
What's your favorite fight you watched growing up?
My favorite fight growing up. I don't really have a favorite
You
fight.
could pop one in the DVD player. What would you put on? You're on the road. You're fighting. You're fighting in St. Louis somewhere, and you're just trying to kill time in the hotel room. You want to put a fight on. What are you putting on?
I would probably just put on Floyd highlights or Roy Jones Jr. highlights. Probably not a specific fight. I just like looking at all different fights in one and just steal different things from every fight.
Who would you say you
resemblance?
Yeah.
I would probably say Roy Jones Jr. the most.
What about him?
I just like his style. He's slick, just up and down with everything, and he fast.
There you go. What got you interested in boxing as a young kid?
My cousin, Nair Albright, actually.
Okay. I bet you one thing though. You can't sing like Nair.
Oh no, he got that.
You cannot sing like him.
He got that for sure.
If I see you singing the national anthem, I'm walking out of here tomorrow.
We could duet it one time.
No.
A little duo.
Calm down now.
No, I'm gonna leave that to him.
So Do you have a prospective second fight lined up or a date?
Not yet.
Yeah. Everything goes as expected tomorrow. You looking to come back July, August? Or,
Yep. July, August. Yep, for sure.
And you feel, even though you're still just 21 years old, you can be moved pretty fast, or?
Yes, I feel as though I can still be moved pretty fast. Definitely.
So what do you like? What do you like to do outside of boxing when you're not boxing?
Outside of boxing, you know, I'm a YouTuber, a TikToker. You know, I got 200,000 followers on TikTok. So
That's why you want to fight Logan. So, I haven't reached the TikTok level. What do you do on TikTok? I don't even know.
I'm a pretty boy on there. Basically, I just post any type videos.
Apparently,
and the girls go crazy.
Apparently, you haven't looked in the mirror much, have you? Apparently, no.
Yeah, you know, I just go on there and do stuff.
The girls go. What do you do that makes a girl goes crazy?
All I gotta do is take a video and they gonna go crazy.
Dr. Foy, what do you think of this guy?
I don't know about TikTok.
I don't know about that stuff either. You got 200,000 followers?
Yeah.
How that happen?
Actually, now you're Albright.
Oh, so you're riding off his coattails then. So
he was like, yeah, you know, I think you would do good on TikTok. You know, you got the pretty boy looks and all that.
Well, he's Pretty Boy Woo.
Yeah,
so
I need
who
to
are
take
you?
his name over.
No, but who are you?
I'm Savage C4.
Oh man. And this kid hasn't even turned. Andrew, this guy hasn't even turned pro yet. When this kid's like 15, 18, and 0, we're not going to be able to stay in the same room as him, dude.
That's why it was great signing, you know?
So you signed with King's Promotions. Talk about going through that whole process.
The process, it was pretty simple. You know, my coach, Rasheem Jefferson, he been knew about Marshall. So it was just, they had met up when James Martin had fought, and, you know, my coach was telling him, like, yeah, we got this fighter for you, Kadir Albright. Like, he's a really good fighter. He told Marshall. Marshall believed in his word, and we here now. You know, I think this is the best promotion for me. We a team now, and we about to get it lit.
Suppose I told you Joshua Fat Ortiz is watching. He's shouting you out a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's my guy. You know, we was in camp together too. I sparred him a couple times. You know, that's my guy.
It's unbelievable. I need some of these followers. How do I live off of you a little bit?
You know, we just gotta be around more.
You on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Real Savage C4.
What how many followers you have on Instagram?
Think about 18,000.
Yeah, I got like 960. What the hell? I'm on every day. I'm doing interviews. You joined our press conference the other night, and you did well. You did very good on that.
Thank
I
you.
must say that. I think I tagged you in it, didn't I?
I'm not sure.
On Instagram, I think you may have liked it or something. And yeah, I only have 960. I don't know what to do here. So trying to think of things to ask you because you've already answered everything already. I don't know. Who's your favorite artist to listen to?
My favorite artist,
beside your cousin.
Probably Little Baby. You heard of Little Baby before?
No.
You heard of Lil Durk?
No.
None of them.
Or
These new kids.
You ever hear of the Rolling Stones?
Nah, I never heard of them.
They're
It's past
so
my
even.
time.
So what are you trying to say? I'm old?
Nah, not really.
Nah, the Rolling Stones. Bruce Springsteen. You ever hear that guy?
Nah. The farthest I could probably go back.
New Kids on the Block. I just saw them in concert last year. They're good.
Boys the Men is probably the farthest I could go back.
Now, Boys the Men was in Philly. From Philly? Would you have ever heard of them? Probably not.
Boys and Men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know they're from Philly, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure. Just making sure. Well, you're from just outside Philly. You're from?
I'm from Philly.
Are you from Philly?
Yeah.
Where they have you? They have you listed from somewhere else on?
Oh, Chester.
Chester.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in Chester for a while now.
Oh, well, where were you from originally?
Philly.
Okay. What
Moved
part?
to Chester. West.
West Philly. Shout out.
Yeah.
Buster's Gym as a kid?
Nah. I used to box at Cobb's Creek.
Okay. I only know Buster's Gym, really. I don't go to a lot of, I go to a lot of gyms, but obviously I know Buster a long time. So
Yeah, I
Um,
trained at Schuler's before too. You heard of Schuler's?
that's Buster's. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows Buster.
Yeah, Outlaw trained me for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're about to weigh in. You maybe, I don't know if you're next up, which is only 2 left.
Hopefully.
What's the post weigh-in meal?
Oh, I think I'm gonna get some chicken Alfredo, or Popeye's chicken sandwich, spicy chicken sandwich meal.
Is that good for? Is that good when you're? I'm asking. I don't know. You're gonna box 24 hours from now. Is that good?
Probably not.
So why you? So why would you have it? But you probably not.
I mean,
I'm gonna teach you. I've been around this game 19 years about discipline.
Yeah, it's definitely discipline. But yeah, I'll probably just get chicken Alfredo for the most part.
Wait, we might have to get you on a broadcast at some point, just to.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're not shy.
Nah, yeah, I'm used to being around the cameras. I used to do YouTube videos and all that.
What kind of YouTube videos?
Public interviews in Atlantic City, stuff like that at the malls.
You used to just go up to people and just
go up to girls, ask them questions.
So what
am I cute enough to be your boyfriend?
Oh,
stuff like that.
Oh my!
Some wild stuff here and there.
I'm afraid to ask this question. Did it work?
Yeah, it definitely worked.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, people
more
on
often
YouTube
than not, or once in a while. Or?
No, it worked a lot. You know, people on YouTube, they like seeing stuff like that.
So, did you do this? There you are.
Time to weigh in.
All right, Kadir, we wish you best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Andrew, never sick him on me again.
It's going to make you a lot more popular.
I'd like to get on some of the 200,000. Well, he's got 18,000 on Instagram. Back with Andrew Foy. What's up, Doc? Take care of a couple of patients while you're away.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you're right around here eavesdropping. What do you think of Kadir Albright? I know we talked about him a lot. You told me how explosive you are. With the personality, I mean,
think that. I mean, that's. That's as exciting as his boxing ability because you need both. I mean, it takes both to be a celebrity in this sport. There's a lot of great boxers that, are really not celebrities. So to have that kind of that it factor and that, personability and just, that means so much. So it just makes me, even more excited that, the fact that he's with King's Promotions.
So we're just waiting on him, and I believe his opponent is Haynes, Isaac Haynes, out of New York, as Kadir said before.
And these sorts of debuts are always interesting because he's a debut as well, right? And so, he probably has not near as many amateur fights, but
looks like he's about 29 years old.
It's still, it's one of these things where. It's a box of chocolates, You don't know what you're going to get with somebody like this. You don't know who he's been sparring in the gym, how he's been doing against those sorts of people. Obviously, we have tremendous confidence in a fighter like Kadir Albright. He's seen everybody, or he's seen all the top levels. But this could be an interesting fight, depending on how this guy comes into it. He probably doesn't know that he's the B-side here.
So things have quieted out a little bit, I guess, after 4 of the 6 weigh-ins. A lot of the guys have gone on their way I'm surprised that Kadir, I was trying to be serious. I was asking that question. You actually, as a physician, you may know some about diets. After a weigh-in, what would be an ideal meal?
Usually the ideal meal is going to depend to a large extent on how hard the weight cut has been. So if it hasn't really been a hard weight cut, it really doesn't probably matter very much. If it has been a hard weight cut, you kind of want to be careful, and you actually want to eat a fairly small meal because you get a lot of blood flow to the gut and can actually make you feel pretty sick. If it's been a hard weight cut and you haven't eaten for a while and you're pretty sucked down to make weight. But he doesn't seem like, most guys, when they're making a hard weight cut, they're not very pleasant. And you can just tell he didn't really seem like there was a whole lot of concerns.
I mean, you can walk like 6'1" and 140 pounds. And granted, he'll be 150 by the time he fights tomorrow afternoon. But I'm now you actually made this, not you, but you and Marshall, one of the things that's almost like a must watch tomorrow. The way you guys are talking to him and the hopes that you guys have for him.
Yeah, I mean, we expect him to be on television real soon. I mean, he's that big of a prospect.
We're getting close to him weighing in.
And when you think about, he would have probably gone on to do very well at National Golden Gloves last year, but unfortunately, it got canceled. Well, who's the last guy similar to him that did well at National Golden Gloves, but was kind of an under the radar prospect from Philadelphia?
Yeah, well, Boots wasn't.
No, yes.
He was more. I mean, I've known.
I mean, I don't want to say under, because he got, they had that stage, right? He didn't really have the opportunity, to do it because of COVID, and he didn't end up fighting nationals this year. But I think it's maybe a little bit of luck, good luck on our part.
Yeah,
because had he been able to, had he done that, that might not have been something that would have been possible. But that being said, we still signed Latif Overton.
Yes.
And he was, so I don't think that's a huge restriction on us, but
No, I totally understand what you're saying. Totally understand. This is actually been doing all these interviews for the last year and a half. This is actually one of the longest. We're almost an hour and 30 minutes.
yeah, it's been long.
Still got another. I don't know if that's a indictment on me or, but we.
Well, no, it's these weigh-ins are. If this was a normal weigh-in right now, where we had the people here and the fighters' teams, there'd be a lot going on. I mean, I think this would be exciting for people to kind of have that perspective.
And once things open up a little bit more, we'll be doing
Right.
that. We'll be doing that, and I'll be doing it before every weigh-in that I'm at, whether I'm with the promoter or with somebody. I'm planning to do a bunch of streams with going to major fights around the world, and it's going to be something a little bit different. So, and be able for some of the fans to talk to some of the biggest fighters around the world, and we'll get that taken care of. So, got another 2 weigh-ins, and then we can have a little lunch.
I think sometimes these kind of club show weigh-ins are more entertaining than when you go to because they are so organized. Those big ones like PBC and whatnot. But these ones, especially at the 2300 arena, can get a little bit rowdy in a good way.
Well, the 5 o'clock weigh-in could get pretty testy because we had a little snippet of it. Wednesday night when we did our press conference with Jens Plana and Brandon Robinson, and obviously they had some words for each other. We had some. It's a Greg Hackett walking by.
Trainer fighter extraordinaire, Greg Hackett.
So they had some words for each other during their and they were states apart, and I felt like I had to break them up.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the weigh-in it'll be more subdued just because of how few people are allowed in right now. But Jens is going to be confident.
Let's see if wonder if we can get the boss in here for a minute. Is that possible? What do you think? Well, he's walking by us. So.
Yeah, walk that far. I don't know where he walked to. That's the only place, unless he went to the bathroom. Who's that?
Let's see. Let's see if Marshall will grace us with his presence for a minute or two.
Hey! I grace you with my presence. Hey! Over here. Here's who she does with stock. Come right in.
We just got shot down by Marshall.
Then we got one more, so like 3 o'clock.
Let's
Then we'll do the same thing. All right, Marshall, the second shift. Let him come in. It's too hot out here. Listen, I agree with you 100%. What do you want to think? Guys are trying to make weight. You want to stand out. I agree 100%. And listen, it's not like everything's closed up. Everything's opened up. So that's how you know it's space. That's right, 131.3. Mr. Haynes, 1313.
Hey, how you so lucky?
Take some pictures.
That's that darn sun, man. You ain't
Say
got it.
1313.
Isaac Haynes weighs in at
131.3.
131.9. Fights at 140.
Albright seeing the doctor right now.
You don't see that very often, Mark.
no.
This isn't a fight I'd want to go in 9 pounds underweight for.
And listen, it takes a while, so you definitely want to come in on time. Yeah, get yourself.
So let him get out. Let me go get some control. Yeah, cool. Hurry up, take. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, matter of fact, when he gets you here, I'll have a car. I'll have a car come here. Yeah. Well, yeah, remember, she should have had it already. Come on, ready, bro?
Next on the scale is my real co-host, Kadir Albright. My more talented co-host.
$142.8. All right, 142.8.
Okay.
So as of right now, we have an 11.5 pound weight advantage for Kadir Albright.
Where's he living?
I think this fight was supposed to be at 42.
I think Haynes going to re-weigh in with his shoes on.
137. 137. Good. 137.
That guy's going to square off.
How do you say that one?
He heard him. Microphone picked it up. What? The microphone already picked it up. Oh, you're supposed to weigh in with the shoes on. You don't have to repeat it. Like you want to do it for Rodney Rice.
Thanks, guys.
It's live television, Mark. That is the beauty of live TV. Still on camera.
Murtaugh, corner. Good enough. Stay right there. Who's with you? You have Nolan. I already got this information. Right? Who else are you with? No, so you got. So you are with.
So we have one more weigh-in to go. Christian Bermudez and Lawrence Murtagh. Bermudez 2-0. 2 knockouts. As we mentioned, he out of the Havoc stable in Brooklyn, New York. I think Christian just fought here in Philadelphia, scored a second-round knockout on May 8th over Joseph Santana. The other fight was at the Madison Square Garden Theater back in 2019. Second-round stoppage over Jonathan Condi. That was had to be on a big card. It was on let's see here. Heather Hardy, Amanda Serrano, I think I don't know if that was the main event. I think Devin Haney was the main event that night. Devin Haney against Zaire Abdullah.
Well, let's talk about Devin Haney.
What did you think of his performance the other night?
So, thought he did well. I mean, I think that Jorge Linares is a world-class fighter. So any win over Jorge Linares is not trivial. But I don't think he performed the way that the next Floyd Mayweather of boxing would perform. And I actually don't know what Jorge Linares was thinking after he had him hurt, because in the 11th round, Haney had no legs, and he wasn't holding well, but I felt like Linares was letting him hold. And the rep was certainly letting him hold. But as a fighter, Linares could have easily stopped a lot of that from happening. And I think he was one punch away from certainly knocking him down again and possibly ending the fight. So, it was certainly an entertaining, kind of an entertaining ending, although the guy was like screaming at the television because I didn't know what Linares, it was almost like he had a gentleman's agreement or he had money on himself not to win that. I know that's not really what happened.
I was thinking, I wonder what would have happened if that punch landed at halfway through round 10. What would have happened? That's the big question. Before we get that, our good buddy Mike Fox replying to Frank Bartolini, who said that Greg Outlaw has a good talent. Mike Fox saying that Greg Outlaw trains with a good team. He would say that, wouldn't he?
Well, I mean, it is a good team.
Or else he wouldn't get dinner tonight, probably. Mike, are you coming? Mike, are you coming to the fights tomorrow? Let us know, Mike, if you're coming to the fights tomorrow.
Definitely a good team. I mean, Mike and his brother both.
Montez and Father Troy, the trainer.
Yep. I mean, it's a boxing family.
Ramblin' Ralph Velez to join us. He's in Miami. He works with the Floyd Mayweather Promotions. There's some ring announcing and some commentary.
It's only the
Good to have you tuning in, Ralph.
Yeah.
Guess you'll be handling the undercard Sunday night with the Logan Paul fight against Floyd Mayweather. Appreciate it. You too. Good luck on Sunday. Should be fun. Mike Fox answering us. Oh, he's in Las Vegas training with Tank Davis. Fortunately, came Mrs. Fight. That's interesting. It's some good news. Obviously, he's fighting. Tank Davis fighting a tall guy, Mario Barrios. Why not bring up a tall guy like Mike Fox? It's good. Good work for both guys.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So that's some good information that Mike and good stuff out from Mike Fox. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ralph. Have a good show. Have a good show Sunday. We'll be watching. Let me ask. Maybe Ralph may know this. Are any of the undercards being streamed anywhere? Maybe Ralph can answer that. I was wondering, say, some of Mayweather's top young prospects will be on the show. Top young prospects will be on the show, so I want to check a couple of those guys out. So maybe Ralph can grace us with some information, just like Mike Fox just graced us with some information. So
Get the inside scoop here.
We got one more weigh-in to go. Bermudez and Murtagh, the two New Yorkers. I don't mind making New Yorkers wait, do you?
I don't think either of them are here.
Well, Bermudez is definitely here. I saw him
There's Andre.
because Andre's here.
Like 2 days out, I already saw you post the food. I was like, he's thinking about it. I know what my fighter is like. When they're talking about food a couple of days out, they're suffering.
Just one more, and then we can put you out of your misery.
Were you guys on the run in Bay or
What else is there to talk about?
Got some good fights coming. Wilder Fury 3 for the lineal heavyweight championship of the world and the WBC championship of the world. What are your thoughts? I think Fury's very live in this fight. A lot of people are sleeping on him.
You mean Wilder?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
A lot of people are sleeping on him, I think.
I don't know. I guess it's hard. I was, high on Wilder before the first Fury fight. I still felt pretty good about him afterwards. I thought he got dominated pretty handily in that last fight. It's hard for me to imagine, what he would do to necessarily turn the table on something like that. I suppose it could have been an off night. Who the hell knows? I mean, a lot of weird excuses were made, which also kind of detract from, I think, just detract from him in general. I don't know. He's a puncher, so a puncher's always got a shot. I don't know.
And then Spence and Pacquiao.
Not that interested in that.
No, why not?
I don't.
I
A guy
am.
like Pacquiao's had a great career. I don't want to see him go out. How many more good fights does he have left in him?
Well, maybe he's got one more. He only needs to have one more.
I think that fight with Thurman would have been a great way for him to go out. And I mean, Thurman was a great opponent for him to fight, given that he wasn't very strong. Well, I don't want to say he wasn't strong, but he wasn't the top of that division. Was coming off an injury. It looked terrible, not terrible, but he didn't look like a world beater in his kind of tune-up for that fight. I forget who he fought, but I just remember thinking, it doesn't look like the Keith Thurman who fought Sean Porter.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the perfect fight for Pacquiao to kind of get one more good chance, and he made the most of it and he looked great. I don't think I would expect him to look that way against Spence.
I mean, that's a conventional wisdom, but still, the great old champion, the legendary old champion, getting one more shot at it. Coming off a great win over Thurman. So, you know what? I mean, obviously, it's been about 2 years out of the ring for Pacquiao, which at 42 years old probably isn't a good thing for him.
You wouldn't think so.
No.
And you just I hate the idea that he might go out. I mean, when have these kind of last stands in boxing ended well.
Well, none of them do. I mean, none of them
So,
do.
I mean, when you think about how Pacquiao's last fight was, that would have been a great ending to a great
Well,
career.
yeah,
You know,
you
that was a
figure
very
that.
legitimate, win. And now, I hope he can hang in there, but we'll see. I guess
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think he'll put up a better effort than he did in the Mayweather fight. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't expect him to win, but maybe give a couple moments of trepidation for Errol Spence, and maybe that's the last stand.
And reality is, I mean, of course you know this, but styles make fights, and Mayweather can make anybody.
Yeah. Well, let's go to our last weigh-in.
Mr. Bermudez. Where do you go? Bermudez, come on over, bub. Mr. Berthold, you're first. Right up. Berthold, 142-1. 142-1.
Keep your shirt off.
Yep, get ready to squeal off, all right? So we can come home. Mr. Bermudez. That's all we need, James. Bermudez, 1-4-2-1. Excellent job, guys. Guys, want to square off, put your shorts on, keep it clean, so we don't get out of here outside.
I think I have enough time.
Carlos,
Both of them, Larry, 1-4-2-1.
I'm gonna step back over
Yeah.
Yes, somebody go to get your feet on. Sign in the background. No?
So you said it's usually.
Okay, you have all three.
That's great.
No,
No, I'm
Excellent job.
I'm just trying to negotiate.
Both face out?
I mean, he's not.
Like I said, bar 11 starts code.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Both of you. In turn. Thank you, guys.
Well, Andrew, we are finally come to the conclusion of our.
Let's finish that last conversation because I think it's a good one to have. I mean, you bring up a good point. Well, maybe I brought up the point. I don't actually remember. But styles do make fights.
Me, but okay.
Mayweather, can negate most styles, particularly, a puncher, pressure fighter like Pacquiao. That's a style that he's always, handled his whole career. That's not Spence's fight, and so Spence is more of a traditional boxer puncher. Somebody, depending on the energy level of Pacquiao for this fight, he could get to somebody like Spence. I mean, Porter certainly did. Porter certainly got to him. It's hard to imagine how even strong he'd be for this weight, and how big of a welterweight Spence is. But I guess maybe I talked myself into being a little more interested in it. Thank you, Mark.
There you go.
Thanks, Mark.
They should give me half of your pay-per-view money when you buy it on July 24th. Or that's Fury Wilder's July 24th, August 21st. Andre Rozier comes over and says hello.
Yes, sir.
There he goes. Well,
All right.
We'll see you guys back for the second weigh-in, probably a little bit after 5 o'clock Eastern. Enjoy your lunch, dinner, or depending on where you're at, maybe a late